Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. We're back at the Dewey Beach Music Conference 2007. And right now, a band who call themselves The Kin, and I'm here with Isaac and Tori. Guys, great to have you here.
Thanks so much, man.
Tell me, you guys, you're living in New York. Are you living in the Northeast now, but you're from Australia originally, correct?
Yeah, originally from Australia.
Are you from Perth, Sydney, or Melbourne, or anywhere in between, or any of those three?
Well, we're from the south.
Oh, so none of the above.
No, Adelaide.
None of the above.
Okay.
Adelaide.
No, Adelaide's a nice area.
From the little cove, the little bite. The Great Australian
The
Bite.
shark bite, you know?
Which is very cool. Tell me about that. You know, I've listened to stations online like Triple J, which I think is
They're
really
the best.
It's such a great Australian radio station. I love
The
that station.
backbone of the whole music, you know,
They
of
really
music in the
support
country.
the bands in the country, don't they?
There's a 50%, you have to play 50% local. So you can bring Britney Spears in, but only one every two, you know?
Which I love that, and I think that that's, you know, the Canadian thing, it's good for Canada too, because they do the same thing called Canadian content. And they actually give grants to recording artists to help them out. Very different than the thing here, but you know what? You know, I give the bands a lot of credit for persevering and working going ahead here, but it's an incredible situation. Tell me about you guys and how you ended up coming here and kind of your background. Did you form in Australia originally without your drummer? Was it just the two of you guys?
Well, we had separate bands. I was in a couple of rock bands in high school, and he was studying jazz. And we came over to finish school in New York City. And
Where did you guys go there?
Well,
Yeah, I went to a school called, it was like a performing arts high school, you know, like a sister school to fame. It's called PPAS. And had the opportunity, and, you know, jazz was like a drug to me, you know.
Yeah.
And we met back up. Actually, originally for our father's wedding, we wrote him a song because we couldn't afford a gift, and we couldn't not sing together after that. We saw the harmony stuff, and
we were like, let's do that again. You know,
that's an incredible story.
And we were daft enough to stay in New York and cut our teeth on the streets, and you know, it's like
do
a magnet.
the New York circuit, you know, it's an
once you're there, you can't leave.
It's a very cool story. Now, what jazz are you into? The classics like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Bill Evans, things of that nature? Or?
Well, yeah, all of it. Actually, all of it, man. I started with the early Parker days and went all the way out.
Oh, really?
When I saw where Coltrane went, I was like, nah, I'm a songwriter. I can't go that far out.
Yeah. So that's where you were at.
It's in there.
And how about yourself? What kind of rock bands were you doing? Were you guys covering things that you loved
actually,
from all over?
Pantera was the band. I was listening to Pantera, and I decided that I was going to sing.
Did you do Fucking Hostile? Because I love that song.
Love is a Fist. Love is a Fist. Yeah.
Okay.
Blue on Blue,
Man,
Love is a Fist.
Mouth
you know,
for
like
War.
that
Those are all good.
That's it. Mouth
New
for War.
Level. Love all that stuff. Your display of powers. What a great record
And then
that is.
Mike Patton blew my mind.
Now, was it Faith No More?
Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
So I was in a band that was kind of like Mahavishnu Orchestra meets Mr. Bungle.
Really? So it had almost like a free
It was
jazz
experimental.
vibe. But
we had an electric violin, and then and then there was band politics. So when we got together, we were like, okay, we're always going to be competitive. We're always going to be challenging each other. We'll fight, but then 2 minutes later, we're over it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it takes away a whole.
Plus, we get to see each other at Christmas.
Yeah.
We can't hide. You know, so it takes away this whole section of being in a band that's tough. You know.
Yeah.
You need all the help you can get.
That's it, exactly, because if you're fighting internally, it's hard enough to fight out there.
Yeah.
So the better you can get along or try and deal with each other, it's that whole family thing. It's like having to deal and weave and walk the spider web of life outside there, and just to get your band out there, you know, it's that's hard. That can be hard enough. Now, so in what school were you going to in New York?
Well, I came over to. I'm 2 years older, so I was actually at college.
Yeah.
And I came over to Northeastern.
Yeah.
And I finished the little music thing and philosophy that I was doing, you know, whatever.
Now, I want to talk about how you found your drummer. It's an incredible story, not to mention the way that he plays. So let's talk about how you discovered your drummer and where. Talk about
He's incredible. We were actually at the MTV building having a meeting with a friend of ours who said, you guys have to find a drummer. You're going on tour next, like in 2 weeks. What are you going to do? So we kind of set an intention, you know, like basically we prayed for a drummer, and we left the building, Times Square.
Separately.
Yeah.
Went our separate ways.
He was going uptown,
one of you on
I was going
45th, one
downtown.
on 44th.
Yeah, he went that way. I went this way.
And we both kind of saw Shake a Leg, his name is. He has his own handmade shaker on his left leg, and he's constructed his own kit out of a giant djembe leaning up against a piccolo snare for a snare sound. leaning back for a bass sound, and then he hits cymbals upwards.
And wraps his fingers, right, with tape, as opposed to using sticks.
No sticks. So we bumped into him. He's been playing in the subway for 6 years, earning a very decent living, and getting into drummers magazines, and he's everywhere we go, he's famous, you know.
I heard that song "Blue on Blue," which I thought was great. I love the fact that it had very kind of proggy overtones, anywhere from Pink Floyd to even early Moody Blues. You know what I mean? But it was very ethereal, and the sound of it, vocally, I was immediately taken by it. I said, "Wow, well, this is really great stuff." Tell me a bit about when it comes down to the writing and recording process. What kind of things do you guys do?
There was a big difference between how that song was written and then it was recorded. The producer we've been working with, Nick Hard, who did The Bravery and Aberdeen City and stuff like that, and The Church, a huge Australian band.
Oh, I love him. Steve Kilby. I had a couple evil nights with him. I was a huge fan, by the way.
Under his belt.
But he's great. He's a great songwriter. Marty Wilson Piper, those dudes in that band.
Absolutely.
You like their stuff?
Absolutely.
Great Australian band. You can't beat it. Love it.
And Nick Hard who's worked with those guys, was a real sound producer, and we really wanted, for this album we're releasing in a couple of weeks on October 9th, we wanted to find someone to bring out the sounds, and we ended up going to the studio, just the two of us, recording all the instruments ourselves except the string stuff. And we wanted someone to challenge us away from the pop thing. We didn't want someone to accentuate the pop side of what we do. We wanted someone to actually
challenge it.
Yeah, bring it down and find the dirt and the grit.
It a bit,
And he was just that. Like, we would be playing along, and I'd start playing this guitar line, and he'd be like, "No, that sounds like a guitar. Let's sing that part instead." And so a lot of the album was just experimentation on different instruments, plugging it into different things, and we just had a ball.
Blue on Blue actually is the only song on the album where the lyrics were written by someone else. It was actually, we were over...
That's the second time that happened to me during an interview. They go, "Hey, you really like that one too?"
No,
hey,
but it's okay. It's in the family. It's in the family.
Okay.
We were at our mom's place.
I'm just joking around about that, though. It's funny. It's just like I'm focusing on that.
We were at mom's place, and she left a book of poetry open, and we were like...
Purposefully.
They're pretty good lyrics.
That's really great. I really, I'm going to play that song "Blue on Blue" on my radio show on Sirius. I love the feel of that song. It's just such a cool track, and you mentioned your producer, who worked with two bands that I also really like, Bravery and Aberdeen City from Boston.
Yeah.
And he just gets great sound. He's done it again.
He really does, man. You just don't know what he does. You record something, then you come back and he's done something. I think
it comes
he's
from
a
his
wizard.
Frustration with music, and I joke around with him, but I think it's it. It's like he's so at the edge of his frustration with music that he won't allow things to go past that he's either heard before or he's sick of, and so it adds this this unique, or he really looks for new sounds. Really,
it's great. It's really exciting, guys. I just want to say that people that are here should really check. The people that are at the conference should check you guys out live tonight to just see the experience with the live thing. And we're going to actually show everybody who's watching right now part of your performance as well. All right, guys?
Great.
Thanks so much, by the way.
Thanks so much,
Tori,
Matt.
really good to have you guys. And that are the guys from the Kin. Let's check out part of their performance right here from Dewey.
Thank you so much. We're the Kin.